I'm a little grumpy today. Hey BookTube, it's Kim at middle of the book march. I have a chatty video today of some issues that I have and some problems. They're really not that bad. Just some things I've been thinking about, and I wanted to talk about them out loud. And here's the platform to do it in. I'm going to talk about it with you guys. So, one of the things that I've been wanting to do is say less in my videos. So I'm going to work on that. So, I have two major points that I wanted to talk about. Since the beginning of the year, I have seen multiple BookTube videos about 2022 reading goals and my goals for the new year, and different booktubers who have done videos on their goals, what they want to do in what they want to read this year and what they want to accomplish. Also, there's another one. Also, like different projects that they want to do or things that they want to take part in. But the title that I see the most often are 2022 reading goals. And since Gina Stanyer's video, which I will link below, about don't set any goals, I haven't been able to stop thinking about it because I don't do it. I don't set goals. I don't set goals most of the time anyway, but I don't set reading goals for an entire year. What I do is kind of remember. I've started to write down in a pseudo book journal that I'll show you maybe some other day. But I write down the things that I want to do, take part in, but I never set anything as a hard and fast goal. I don't look forward to the year. I don't set up my reading based on what theme is in which month. I don't commit too hard to reading projects. And when I feel like I'm going to, I really think about it hard before I actually commit, or before I actually say, oh, I really want to do that. And even if I do, I always have the flexibility to quit or to say, no, this is not working for me, or I don't like this, I'm going to DNF this. And so I always leave that wide open. And Gina said something in her video that really resonated with me is I'm no longer doing that to myself. I'm at a point in my life where I've been through, all this goal setting and the visionary thing and to look ahead as to what I want to do. And honestly, I am so impatient and I am so cynical about my desire to do something. Because what typically happens with me is something sounds super good, like, oh, that sounds awesome, I'm going to do that. And I feel that way with everything. And this is what happened to me last year. I jumped into everything, and then I was exhausted and resentful and wiped out. So I don't set those goals anymore. But I feel funny in a way because I feel like, is there something wrong with me? Or I would love for any of you who do those goals setting or the videos to kind of talk about that. If you want to talk to me in the comments below, how does that benefit you? When you set the goals for the year, what does that do for you? What does that provide for you? And what's behind it? Have you always been a goal setter, or is this something that you use to keep track of reading, to keep track of books? These are not rhetorical questions. I really am interested. So I just feel almost like I feel like an outlier because I don't do that and I don't want to. And then on the other hand, I say that, but I don't have any guilt. I don't have any negative feelings about myself that there's something wrong with me or that I'm broken. I'm a broken booktuber. No, I don't feel like that at all. I just feel very different. And I really am interested to hear what's behind the goal setting for a year's worth of reading. I am so moody and I am such a look at my shelves and say, oh, that looks good, I'll go grab that. Or I'll read the first couple of pages. No, I'm going to pick something else. And I'll pick something else. And I'll do that for half an hour. And finally find something that, yeah, I'll stick with this one. I'll read this one. So I do usually look for whether it's fiction, nonfiction, memoir, fantasy, whatever type of book I'm looking for. I usually zone in on that. And then I go to the sections in my bookshelves where I know I'll find what I'm looking for. So that's my first chatty thing. My second one is TBRs and unread books. So I've also seen a lot of videos of people who are working really diligently to read the books on their physical TBRs. And I've seen so many videos of people who have said, here's the number of books I have on my TBR. And I'm thinking of Heidi particularly. I just watched her video, and she keeps track of all the books, the physical books on her she calls it her ancient TBR. And there's several booktubers that do the same thing. They are very aware of how many books they need to read to dwindle the TBR number. I don't do that either. I don't, it's not that I don't pay attention, because I actually do know how many books I have, and I don't separate my books by read and unread. They're all mixed together. So I can look on my shelves and I know which ones are read and unread, but there's no organization. So I don't have a specific spot where I put unread books. I also don't really seem to care how many unread books I have. And I think that's a disease. And I read an article in the million hours of downtime I had at work today. I read an article, and this is a Japanese word, Tsundoku. And it's not Sudoku, the math game, the numbers game. It's Tsundoku, and I'll put it in the text. But it is a Japanese word that refers to collecting books without reading them. And I thought, is that what I do? Is that me? But I don't think so, because I do buy a lot of books, but I read books constantly. And I'm not buying them to make my house look good or pretentious, or I'm not buying books to show off. I don't buy books by the foot. I don't buy books by color to decorate. I buy books that I really want to read. Do I buy too many? Yeah, of course I do. But number one, it's fun. Number two, I love having my own personal library in my house. And they're very well stored. They're all neatly stored. I only have one small pile next to my nightstand. So, but I've got a ton of unread books. I'm not even going to tell you the number, but I'm not keeping track of that. And what is that about? What is that Japanese word? It's, from what I read, there is no stigma attached to it in Japanese. But when we as English-speaking Americans read it, even if you're not American, I apologize for that. If you're an English speaker and you see that word or you read about that word in Japanese, all of a sudden it's almost like there's a guilt level that gets to you. But in Japanese, there is no stigma attached to that word. So you can buy all the books you want and not read them. Or you can buy 1,000 books in 1 year, but only are able to read 50. What does that mean? Why do I buy so many? I don't buy 1,000 books. But buying books is fun. And buying books for me, when I go to a library sale, it's so much fun. Or when I'm thrifting and I find books that I have on whether it's on my Goodreads TBR, or if I've written them down somewhere and I happen to find it in a thrift store, it's like I hit the jackpot. I feel like I'm in Vegas and I've been putting the nickels in, and all of a sudden I'm getting something back. So that's kind of how I feel about that. And I was in the same article, they were talking about Umberto Eco, who died, I think, in 2016. His personal library was 30,000 books. And very many of them were unread. And they were since donated to, I think they were donated to a library or a few libraries in Italy. But he collected books. He still read, but he for sure did not read or could not have read 30,000 books in his home. I don't have 30,000, But I do have enough books where if I never bought another book, I would not, I don't think, let me think about this first. Well, I would be really old if I read only my own books and never bought a new one. I could do it, but I would be pretty old by the time I was done. But I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad about having so many unread books. I love it. I love being surrounded by books. And it's not a matter of consumerism or possession. It's a matter of I can look at my shelves and it's like there's a world in every book. There's a universe of information and there's an entire world of stories and characters in every book. And honestly, I like the colors and the artistic value and the aesthetics of having books everywhere. I think for some people it looks like clutter, especially for non-readers. But luckily I have a husband and a daughter who don't care, they like it. My daughter's room is the same. But yeah, that's what I was thinking about. And I think it's based on so many videos that I've been watching, and it's been really interesting to me to follow different booktubers' year goals for this year, for 2022, and for how you guys feel about the books that are languishing on your shelves. My last video was the books that are lurking on my Kindle, so I do it there too. And a lot of it has to do with when I find bargains, when I find books at such a great price I can't pass it up. Some of those books are books, oh, that looks really good, I'll buy that. And I do. But what I want to concentrate on are the books that I am excited to get to. Not just that, oh, I recognize that cover, that sounded good in a video, or I saw it in an article, that sounds good. I want to spend the money on the books that I can't wait to get to. So that's what I'm trying to do going forward. That's it, I think. That's all I wanted to talk about. If let me know in the comments below if you're a booktuber and you set those reading goals. Let me know what benefit that has for you. And if you do keep track of your unread TBR and you have physical books on your shelves, tell me how that makes you feel. If you have Tsundoku, or why, if you feel bad about that, or if you feel self-conscious, let's talk about that in the comments below. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts about that. If you're not a booktuber, same thing. If you've got shelves full of books, talk to me about it in the comments. I'm really interested to hear different perspectives from different people. So thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.